Welcome to the Tuesday Review. I'm Nathan.
I'm James.
And I'm Callum.
And tonight it's a packed show.
Yes, lots of stuff to talk about. We'll talk about Ricky Gervais's Afterlife and his new Netflix series, probably at the end of the show. But other than that, we're just going to go through all the trailers and stuff that have been coming out this week. And
it's been a big week for trailers.
A lot of trailers. But first, I very quickly want to give my thoughts on the Lego Movie 2, which I saw and you guys didn't. I really loved the first Lego movie. It's genius. It's hilarious. And Lego Batman movie is also really good. Lego Movie 2, not as good as the first. Wasn't expecting it to be. But, you know, the animation is the best part, pun intended. But that's not to say I didn't enjoy the movie. I think it was fun. I think most of the jokes fall flat in the sequel. There's a lot of slapsticky, kind of more kiddie, feels a bit more kiddie jokes. But then there's some good, like, absurdist and meta humour similar to the first film.
Does it have the same writers?
Yes, Lord and Miller. Which is probably the only reason why the movie worked. And the best part of the movie is probably the themes and the overall journey that the characters take. The way the movie kind of gets there and the sort of action and the laughs are the lesser side of the movie. The credits are the best part of the movie. That's not a negative thing. If you've seen the movie, you'll know why. But I think they should wait a few more years before they do another Lego movie, because there was Lego Movie, Lego Batman, Lego Ninjago, and Lego Movie 2.
Gonna oversaturate.
So four Lego movies in 5 years. So it was just too much, oversaturated.
You need to make sure it's going to connect with the audience.
And yeah, I feel like after this one they should wait and you maybe wait a few years before they do any other.
Take time.
Yeah. But what I wanted to talk about, and our fans will either most likely will groan. But basically, I was watching the movie, and like I thought the second half was better than the first half, and that's when things really come together. All the pieces come together. But basically, I was like, the Lego Movie 2 is a better Star Wars movie than The Last Jedi. And it's also a better sequel.
James, you're becoming a stereotype.
No, but
we need an alarm or like a sort of ringtone in this show.
I think I'm gonna try and set that up somehow.
Have one that just says like trigger warning.
Every time someone mentions Last Jedi on this show, starting from next week, I'm gonna have an audio clip ready to play.
Don't promise if you can't keep the promise, because next week it'll come and we won't have.
I'll have it ready. I'll bring on a USB stick. I'll have the player.
Remember, it has to be royalty free.
Royalty
free.
Stuff, I'll find something royalty free.
You can use your old ass keyboard.
I'll use my old ass keyboard, like to make like a warning sound.
Yeah.
Because like every time we mention it, we need something to go off.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm already taking up too much time with it. But you know, we've talked a few times on this show and a lot of times on the old show about how you can pretty much just remake any halfway decent movie with Star Wars characters, and it would be so much better than Last Jedi and so much better than the new Star Wars movies. And I was watching Lego Movie 2, you know, the themes in that movie, and I was just like, you know, you could replace Emmett with Rey or Lucy with Finn or vice versa, and it's like the movie would, you know, Last Jedi would be a lot better. So yeah, it was just
careful what you wish for.
It's kind of crazy.
Again, this is just Rian Johnson has a lot to answer for.
Yeah,
and I think other film writers show this. They prove like. How many times have we watched a movie and we jokingly or half-jokingly said, haha, that was a better Star Wars movie?
Yeah.
That's not an indication that all these movies are better than the Star Wars franchise. It's an indication that Rian Johnson doesn't know. He knows how to write a good movie. He forgot when it counted.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, is like, Lego Movie 2 wasn't even that great. It's just like, when you see the story and the themes play out, and it's like, well, they could have done something similar for Last Jedi, but obviously more serious and in the Star Wars universe, and it would have worked a lot better.
To quote Red Letter Media, they let some guy make a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, exactly.
You just better be careful what you wish for, because then the next Lego movie we're going to see is Lego Star Wars.
That might be okay.
If Lord and Miller write and direct it, I would be up for that, because,
Oh, it could go either way.
Yeah.
So we have a packed show and we have a lot to talk about.
Yes.
The first on our list for our conversation tonight is the Disney/Fox merger and what that means for the Snap.
Yes.
Which the Snap, of course.
No, this is the Snap.
Oh, my bad.
I thought we were talking
that
about
was the joke.
Yeah, the joke is that
The joke is the merger is Snap. And like already over 4,000 jobs have been cut.
Can I just to break our entertainment cycle here for a second? I read on the internet today on Twitter, apparently there's a large section of the conservative community that were really worried that Disney is going to turn Fox News into a liberal news network. That's not going to happen.
No.
I just think it's the idea that the mouse would start putting out liberal news outlets. Look, Fox News is kind of funny to me.
Disney likes to present itself as very innocent, kind of child-oriented, family-oriented, but overall they're a giant,
they're a
megacorp who
they won't fiddle with anyone's business.
Will squeeze the money out of right-wing fears as much as any other.
We're kind of. I remember when the big hoo-ha when Disney acquired Marvel and they started making movies. People were like, "Oh, are they going to turn? What are they going to do with Marvel? How's this going to affect the movies and the comics?" They've done a wonderful job with Marvel.
That's mostly probably because of Kevin Feige and
they let Marvel do what Marvel wants to do without having too much.
And then there's also the Star Wars side where they completely ruined it. But as far as they've said that like ABC and Fox Television are going to stay autonomous, so probably for at least the next few years, the shows that are on those networks like The Orville will probably just stay the same. And if there are any cancellations or firings, that's most likely going to come from internally from Fox. Now, they might be pressured by Disney to do those things, but as far as they've said, is that they'll have some degree of autonomy when it comes to that.
It's interesting because if I'm not mistaken, Disney owns a stake in Hulu.
Yes.
And I remember not too long ago...
They're close to owning the majority stake in Hulu?
Not too long ago, Bob Iger said he is interested in potentially expanding Hulu's reach internationally if the chance presents itself. So that'd be interesting for Australia if we managed to get...
We've discussed this on the show in the past already.
As far as we know, both Disney Plus and Hulu not coming to Australia.
We're getting most Disney stuff through Stan at this point.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that Hulu stuff maybe might join Stan, so,
that'd be cool.
But, like, Disney is focusing on their streaming service, Disney Plus and Hulu. But as far as we know, the Fox sort of TV stuff and all those companies that they own, like ABC, will stay the same, at least for now. So, like, The Orville won't suddenly be on Disney Plus, Speaking of The Orville, the last couple episodes have been really good. We talked a few weeks ago about... I
haven't caught up again.
You're the worst. You guys are the worst. Like, it's such a good show. But anyway, my kind of point is that, speaking of keeping up with it, is a couple of weeks ago we talked about the episode Identity Part 1, Part 2, that really great...
The space battle scene.
With the space battles and all that. And there's been a couple of episodes since then that have obviously been smaller scale, but have also been really, really good. And so the show continues to impress, even when it's not doing big scale action.
The show's amazing. Every episode impresses me.
So, the last episode was really, really good. It's called Lasting Impressions. Really, really funny, but also some really good feels. But then I found out that there's going to be 3-week hiatus until the next episode.
What?
Which is insanity.
That's the worst.
Now, there's already been 2 1-week hiatuses so far. And there's going to be, I think, around 14 episodes for this season. So what a season that should take 14 weeks to play out, 1 episode a week, is now going to take 19 weeks. And that's if there aren't any other further delays, because we don't know,
we're just hoping they don't change the time slot when they come back.
And exactly, and when they come back, and they might change. So it's like, this is why I hate commercial television. Just you've made it. Just release it.
Yeah, exactly.
This is why I love Netflix, Amazon, etc.
And I think these services prove that, like, they're successful in that model.
Yeah, it's like you're not going to change anything by leaving a gap in the schedule. Now I know commercial television's different because you have commercials, and everything they do is to please advertisers and the companies. Which is a big problem, I think, as we've seen with, like, streaming services. It cuts out all that crap. But a 3-week hiatus, it's insane. Anyway.
Oh, look, I'm still recovering from the Twin Peaks hiatuses when we were watching that.
Oh, that was bad.
It'd end on a high note.
Especially
and you'd be
that
like,
show, which
I can't wait, and then...
It's so dense.
It's so dense, and it's like, it's a premium cable show, so it's sort of made to be binge. It's made as a 18-hour movie, and you had to wait around week to week, and jeez, I hate it so much.
But that was a special time in our lives, all right?
Yeah. Memories.
Memories.
Slowly going insane watching David Lynch's brain pour out on television.
But you know what? That was 18 weeks that we had new Twin Peaks.
Pure excitement.
Yeah.
So I couldn't take that back.
No.
Anyway, moving on.
But yeah, we were talking about the Fox merger. Now it's officially gone through, which means, Nathan, you know what that means?
The snap.
No. Your favourite thing.
Oh, man. AVX. Avengers vs. X-Men, here we come. To be determined.
This is all Nathan wants in the world.
That's all I want, man.
It's not even that good of an arc.
It is. I want my Wolverine fighting my
Hulk.
Thor.
No, see, here's what you want. You want the, what do they call it? That wall where they all get transported by the Beyonder to a planet to fight out in space.
Oh, I can't remember.
It's going to drive me crazy.
Look it up.
I will. I'm sorry about this. It's called Secret War.
But I want...
No, Secret was the...
But you want Deadpool fighting Wolverine, for instance.
Yeah.
You want... Although that's... That's Sony, right?
No.
Oh, no.
Fox.
Deadpool's in the same universe. Never mind. That's Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's Sony,
Yeah.
yes.
But yeah, I love the idea of Avengers and the
Yeah.
X-Men sort of clashing.
I think, I know Kevin Feige probably has heaps of plans for this and a way to integrate X-Men into the...
Secret Wars.
Is it Secret Wars?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
I know that he probably has a plan of how to integrate X-Men into the MCU, but I'm having a hard time figuring out how they're going to do it.
Look, it's all much ado about nothing. It's not overly complicated. You just make it so the X-Men are new. They're like the Avengers already exist.
Yeah.
The
but
X-Men...
because the idea of mutants hasn't really been played with in the MCU because of rights issues, because they legally couldn't. Now, all of a sudden, if they just rock up, and it's like, well, where did all these mutants come from? If this
there are
mutation
smarter
is-
people than us that
Yeah.
can
Yeah,
deal
I mean,
with that.
I don't think it's that. Like, you could just... It'd be... Even if it's just a rocky landing... You could just
Yeah,
introduce it or
at the end of the day-
do the DC thing and say, oh, it's a meta gene, but then it's not really X-Men.
No, exactly. So
They could pull some sort of stunt where they take X-Men characters and put them in key scenes
Oh, no.
behind the
no,
scenes
no,
in
no,
Avengers scenes.
No.
that would be terrible.
That would be amazing.
That would be
I want to
disgusting.
see like Cyclops looking through at like the Civil War fight at the airport and being like, I don't like this, not one bit.
No,
That's awful.
That's
Nah.
the worst idea ever.
I stand by it.
No, but I think it's interesting. I'd love to see how the Fantastic Four could fit
I think
in.
that's what I'm actually more interested in, because I feel like that'll be a much easier transition to have the Fantastic Four introduced into the MCU.
It would.
And
Wouldn't it be great to have an actual Fantastic Four movie?
yeah, like it'd be really great to see an actually freaking good Fantastic Four movie.
Because this is the first time. Because this would be the first Fantastic Four movie that's ever been made.
Yes. But it's like,
Movies so bad they cancelled the comics.
oh god,
I'm pretty sure
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, like I'm more excited because I feel like even more than the X-Men, I feel like what the MCU could bring to could do with Fantastic Four, and also
Doctor Doom.
and Doctor Doom. They
Dr. Doom.
like, you know what's even more disappointing than them screwing up Fantastic Four? Them screwing up Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
Like, I know that's weird, but there was that bit in, I think it's Homecoming, where Tony Stark is selling the Avengers Tower, and people are like, why? And the rumor was that Kevin Feige was setting that up for that to be the Fantastic Four Tower.
Reed Richards would purchase
Yeah.
it or something.
So I'm hoping they're just going to leave that until they get to integrate the Fantastic Four and have...
They could drop a fantastic line at Endgame, be like, "Oh, Mr. Richards bought it," and they're not on any legal problems because they're not saying who.
Yeah, who's Mr. Richards?
I don't
Could be
know.
anyone.
Some
And then you
Yeah.
got Tony being like, "That's fantastic." You know, Robert.
yeah. Oh, Mr. Richards bought it. Fantastic.
No, but
The Fab Four.
I'm really excited to think about it because the space exploration, the sci-fi themes. Even they could even tie it into the Captain Marvel stuff with the Krees.
Well,
and
yeah.
Skrulls and all
Apparently the I don't know if rumors is the right word, but it's like after Endgame, they're going to start their MCU is going to start their cosmic phase, where they're going to introduce all the space battles and all the space societies. So,
honestly, who needs Star Wars?
Yeah, and it's like
I've still got the original trilogy. Who needs the new ones? Just give me cosmic Marvel.
But it's like, if that's true, then you introduce Fantastic Four, you introduce Silver Surfer. What's his name? Galactus.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be insane. So I'm more excited about that than X-Men, and I love X-Men.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. The scope is so much larger.
Yeah.
Than don't get me wrong, I love the X-Men probably more than the X-Men, but the X-Men has a kind of limited scope in the sense that yes, there's time travel, but there's also time travel in space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there's less cosmic adventures in X-Men.
There's a few, but they are limited.
Less than Fantastic Four and the other Avengers.
Also,
stuff.
the is it the Phantom? No, the Phantom Zone's
that's Superman.
Yeah, that's Superman. Yeah. The Negative Zone. That's the.
Oh yeah.
Which is the one in Fantastic Four?
I can't remember.
Well, Callum looks that up, but I think they must have plans for the X-Men, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like the Fox merger's been going, like, it's been a couple of years, right, since it was like announced and started. So
yes. The Negative Zone. It's like Marvel's version of the Phantom Zone.
Yeah.
So they must have some plans to integrate X-Men, even tentative plans.
Yeah.
To integrate it into the MCU.
Well, we've got.
I don't see the sort of upside to keeping it parallel and separate.
I don't think they would keep it separate. Even though, like,
it would be hard to integrate.
Yeah, one, it'd be hard to integrate, and also like it's like, I love the MCU, but it's like, if everything's part of the MCU, you don't get any good, like, weird standalone, darker sort of
like
movies.
Deadpool.
Yeah, so I mean, I think they're going to keep. I think they're going to keep Deadpool separate.
Yeah.
At least, and they can probably have like cameos from MCU characters because he's self-aware.
But Deadpool works separately because he's so meta that like he can be separate but together.
Know what would be fun? You know, it'd be funny if in the next. I think they said they were going to do X-Force instead of Deadpool 3. But I don't know if that's changed. But it'd be really funny if Deadpool, at the start of the movie, Deadpool tries to join the Avengers, and you get cameos from all the Tony Stark and Thor, and
that would be amazing.
And they like kick him out.
Oh, make my own.
And so he starts the X-Force as a way to spot out a spy.
Oh man, I can't fangirl any harder. that would be amazing.
Yeah.
So I think, fine, I'll start my own superhero team.
He's like sitting there writing an application.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. Is still keep him separate, still keep him R-rated, but make jokes and references to the fact, and he will know he's now part of the MCU, so he'll make jokes, and they maybe might do a PG-13 joke or something. But yeah, I think as much as I'd love the X-Men to be part of the MCU, and I think that's probably the best thing that they could do, and that's probably what they're going to do. It's like, it's just kind of sad that we won't get a different take on the characters.
Is I love the X-Men comics, but I'm tired of Phoenix.
Like, they're doing Phoenix again. It's like
that's what I mean. Like, if they do bring X-Men into the mold, like no Phoenix. I would allow another version of Apocalypse.
Yeah,
you know, like to see like it done well,
a better version.
Phoenix, like, can we just have Jean Grey already Phoenixed out and just moving on with our life,
or just never mention Phoenix and just have Jean Grey being Jean Grey?
We were home today, and our mum was on the internet on her laptop, and she's like, you like the X-Men, don't you? And your movie coming out, and it was the Phoenix
no one
one.
cares.
I'm just like, you're right, I do.
A movie
but
that
I don't,
no one wants.
But this movie, like, I really don't care.
No one cares.
I said
about Phoenix.
I'll probably watch it because we can talk about it on the show. I'll watch it because it's something to do, but I don't care.
If I didn't have this show, I would not watch it because there'd be no point. And like, they should just dump it on Disney Plus at this point.
More people. I'd subscribe to Disney Plus to watch this. So I don't have to.
There's a rumor that the New Mutants movie that was supposed to come out like over a year ago, and they kept delaying
it. I heard that.
Yeah. There's a rumor that they're just going to dump that on Disney Plus when Disney Plus starts, which I think would be the best case scenario.
But that's smart
because that would get people to sign up for Disney Plus just out of curiosity to see the new failed X-Men movie. And that movie's not going to start a franchise or anything. And even if it was really good, like, I don't think Marvel is now going to take that into their new canon. So, it's probably best that they just get rid of it.
Do you reckon they're going to keep any canon from the X-Men?
No.
I don't reckon they would. I'd start again.
It'd be too difficult if they were going to integrate into the MCU.
It
wouldn't make any sense.
And besides, the clean slate is the best thing.
Yeah, it's the best thing.
So moving on, we still have a lot on our plate, and we only have like 40 minutes or so left.
Yeah.
Bill and Ted 3 was announced.
Yes.
Now we're all lovers of the Bill and Ted franchise. It's some of Keanu Reeves' best work. No, it's true. And it's, I suppose, for those who aren't aware, because it is a bit of an earlier film in his filmography.
I think most people know it.
I think that you're.
To be fair, I think
Look,
we're overstating the large.
they know of it. Whether they've seen it or not is
So
different.
it's kind of stoner humor without the stoner. If you
Sort
know what
of,
I mean.
yeah.
It's like a PG version of Jay and Silent Bob in a way.
Yeah.
It's hard to describe.
I think most people who listen to this show would be aware of Bill and Ted.
Yeah, probably. It's the moment we've all been waiting for with bated breath has arrived. It was officially announced.
Yeah.
It's been in the rumor mill for a while now.
8 years.
It's a big unconfirmed sort of secret going on.
So 2021 was it or 2020?
I think 2021. I can't remember.
But
So excited.
But our boys are back
Yeah.
and Death's back.
Yes, William Sadler as Death is coming back. Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter, Bill and Ted themselves have announced that they're going to start filming soon.
Yep, the
Is that
Wild
right?
Stallions are back.
Yeah, like the script's done apparently. There's not a lot of other news, but
I hope it's good, man.
It
has
I only
potential
I only
to be
speak for
great,
myself.
but yeah.
I'm gonna love it. No matter what
Don't
happens.
hype it up, man. You're going to be disappointed.
I hope to think anyway. I hope that they wouldn't have done this movie unless there was a good script.
I feel like there's been so many terrible reboots and remakes and sequels. Like,
But Kevin Smith doesn't. Kevin Smith.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves. I'm talking about got reboots on the mind, everybody. Keanu Reeves. He doesn't need to make this movie.
Yeah, but it's like there's been so many terrible ones, and this could definitely fall into that trap. But also on top of that, it's been so long, and people have been so excited for it, and I feel like they could definitely Cobra Kai it and make it an actually good.
A drama.
Not drama.
We don't want
an actually good continuation of a classic series. Like, there's definitely the potential there for it to be really good. Whether it will be, not sure.
I like my righteous brothers on the side of hope.
Yeah.
I think there will be bodacious babes. There will be excellent music.
Air guitar.
Strange things will be afoot at the Circle K. I think it's going to have everything.
It also depends on how they are they gonna do like a Cobra Kai thing where it's like they're old guys trying to be young rockers.
There's probably going to be an element of that. How old would the children be?
Oh, probably 30.
Yeah.
Like almost 30. 25.
I mean, we don't know what's involved in the script. I think when the first trailer comes out, we'll be able to tell a lot more.
But it also, it depends, like, because they have the kids in Bill and Ted 2 when they come back from the future and they've got, like, the goatees or whatever. But, yeah, so it depends, like, how much they keep that in canon. And also because there's a time travel element, like, are you going to see their younger selves? Like, how are they going to integrate that? Can they do de-aging? Are they just going to use old footage from the original movies and just digitally edit them into new scenes? Which is a reason I'm worried that now that George Carlin's passed, like, how can you not have Rufus?
I like the...
Because it's time travel. It's like, well, you have to have Rufus in there somewhere.
I like the idea that you said off air before the show that you read on the internet that just get Dave Chappelle to do it and just don't mention it.
Someone was just like, they should just get Dave Chappelle to play Rufus and just no one mentions that's different. Like,
and that would be 100% in the spirit of the movie.
Yeah, just no one talks about it.
Just like it's not a thing.
I was saying that they should get Mark Hamill to play George Carlin because he's got the beard and the gruff voice and he could pull it off, and they could just have him play Rufus and like. So
I mean, we don't know a whole lot, but
there's not a lot of news.
I live in hope.
Yeah.
So I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm sure we'll have an update for you when the first trailers drop. We'll be able to give you our thoughts then.
Definitely.
But speaking of trailers, John Wick 3. We haven't talked about that very much.
Yes, very excited about that.
Another Keanu Reeves movie.
Yeah,
funnily enough.
Ties. That's why I put it in the list on the third. Yeah, see, I know. But like I really loved John Wick 1, but John Wick 2 for me was just next level great. There are a lot of people who are like, no, the first one's better. Those people are wrong.
They are wrong.
Second one is way better.
2 is godlike.
And so the third movie, I was like, it's going to be good, but I'm worried it's going to start to feel tired.
You don't think?
But
it looks
watching the
over
trailer, over the top. Have you not seen John Wick? And the whole thing, like the whole thing's over the top.
That's the point.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, I feel like after watching the trailer, like I didn't have those feelings of it's gonna feel tired anymore. I'm just a bit worried about how they're gonna end. You know,
Is it going to end
I
with him
feel
dead?
because it's like I feel like the only way you can end this character is to Logan style kill him off, but also they've already announced their Continental TV show spin-off, which Keanu Reeves is apparently going to be a small part of. Then also the franchise is and the character's popular enough that you don't really want to kill him off now if later you're going to do more films.
Because the way this movie is heading, like the story direction, he's on the run, because he killed someone on the Continental, and now he's a wanted man. Excommunicado. So, but like the ending, there's only really, for me, like it can end 2 ways, He basically ends the Continental, like he puts it into that whole system.
I think what the movie's going to be about is him tracking down and killing the High Council, which is all the heads of the mafia families who run the Continental and the sort of underground assassin ring.
So if he ends then how can they have the TV show?
Look, it could be as simple as he kills enough people that they're like, wait, let's put a diplomatic solution.
Yeah,
do you know what I
they
mean?
come
Like,
to him and all right, truce.
yeah. So I mean, maybe
or he offers them, he gives an offer they can't refuse.
Yeah,
you know?
like maybe he survives for so long it starts to wear down their resources, and so they come to an agreement.
Yeah.
I mean, we obviously will know more after we've seen it.
Yeah.
But I think if they do have further plans for this franchise going on, I can't see them killing his character. I think it'll come to some type of, as I said, diplomatic arrangement.
And will we get to see it in Australia?
I feel like this time around, I think they've announced it's going to come out on the actual proper release date and won't be delayed like it was last time.
How generous.
Okay, very good.
Fingers crossed they don't change that.
Yeah.
Because last time it took months and months for it to come out here.
Months and months.
Which is insane.
Sorry. Stranger
Things. Season 3. A lot of 3s. Bill and Ted 3. John Wick 3. Stranger Things Season 3.
Good things coming 3s.
Yeah. Looks good.
I mean, there's not really a lot we can say about it. It's more of the same.
I was watching the trailer and I'm like, I'm enjoying the whole like teen summer comedy stuff more than the sci-fi stuff. At the end of the trailer, when they reveal all the sci-fi stuff,
like a coming of age story.
And then I started getting bored, and I was like, I think the strength of Stranger Things is the cast and the
it's a Spielberg nostalgia trip.
Yeah, but I feel like after the first season. Like most of the sci-fi stuff in the first season works really well. Second season, they started to show some cracks. I think the third season we'll see when it comes out. But I don't know how well they're going to handle it, because I think second season kind of wobbled a bit.
I'm not sure if it's an unpopular opinion in this studio, but honestly, I think they should. There's an argument to be made for ending the show in its current form and maybe starting a new story with a new set of characters.
Like they're making it an anthology.
Yeah, I would be...
Because then they can just clear
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
See, they could do Stranger Things subtitle and then have Stranger Things, and then like you take as many seasons as you need to complete the story.
And they could set it at different periods of time that way as well. So they could do like a 50s B movie thing.
Oh, that'd be cool. But I was thinking, I'd like a Stranger Things comic book that just explores the relationships between the characters, not necessarily sci-fi.
Yeah, well, there is a comic book coming out.
Yeah, like I think, because like you said, that like some of the best parts of the show are just the character building.
I think that's the reason people love the show. I mean, the nostalgia part is why people love it so much, but it's also because of the characters and the cast.
But they can hit those nostalgia notes without, because like I feel like with this show the danger is the longer it goes, the more bogged down it's going to be.
I'm not, after season 2, I'm not 100% sure they know what they're doing with the sci-fi side of it. So it'll be interesting to see what they do this time around.
Because I hope it's not going to be like season 1 and season 2 share too much similarities in terms of the bad guy for me. Like, I know they're different, but I just felt it was too samey. I want something new.
Yeah, that's why, this one, it looks like the monster comes from inside someone. So, but it still looks like a big CGI blob. Like, it's not really different. Yeah, they should have maybe tried to go different.
And if they can't do that, just have another show even if you still want to continue the storyline,
like
a spin-off, like Stranger Things X,
a psychic hitman trying to track down 11. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like something
not
like
even
that.
set in that universe, something completely different, but hitting those nostalgia notes, as James said, some sort of 50s B movie.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Or it could be set in the same universe, but it's about another supernatural event that's not tied to the Upside Down and those monsters. It's like in this universe, there's other sci-fi stuff going on, supernatural stuff going on, you know. So yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
But still looks good.
Yeah,
I have high hopes. I think they know what they're doing. Generally, we'll see how it pans out over the course of the season.
Yeah. Definitely, when you can already tell all the characters are like...
There were one line from the trailer that I loved is, I think I'm going to butcher this, but how many children are you friends with?
Oh, yeah.
And one of the ladies says to Steve.
Steve and Dustin's like relationship is the best.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Like,
yeah, good old Steve.
I like he's got the Farrah... Is it the Farrah Fawcett hairspray? So good. Should we move on? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Is that what we're talking about?
Yep. Quentin Tarantino's next blockbuster.
Now, this movie, we didn't see anything for a long time.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing everything.
Well, that's how most movies, you know.
But usually you see a poster a little while before you see...
Depends on the movie, I guess.
But you know, we've seen two posters which are very
terrible, poorly photoshopped.
Were the posters produced by Netflix?
It looks like they were like fan posters, poorly photoshopped.
I saw a funny comment on the internet where it's like, it looks like someone has photoshopped Brad Pitt's head onto Brad Pitt's body. Just because the way how awkward
you know what?
it
I
is.
wouldn't be surprised if it was like two different photos of Brad Pitt that they just smushed together. Like they're terrible.
Hollywood
posters.
magic.
But what we're actually talking about
trailer,
is the teaser.
Which looks really good.
Yeah, it looks amazing. I mean, we knew it was. But
and is this Tarantino's last film?
Well, he says he's going to stop at 10, and this is 9, apparently.
Okay, good. So we still got one more.
But we'll see.
But I don't know. He talks a lot of shit. Like, he's so lucky. He's been able to make pretty much all the movies he's wanted to make in his own way.
Pretty much unfiltered as well.
Yeah, and it's like, why would you stop at 10? And I think he's in interviews. He said he doesn't want to be a filmmaker whose movies get worse and worse as he gets older.
Not the case.
But am I misremembering? He said he might want to start writing novels as well, something like that.
He probably I
think he wants to keep creating. He just wants to maybe change the medium.
Yeah.
Which again, I kind of disagree with. When you're such a masterful filmmaker like Quentin Tarantino,
like he can do. I mean, he can do. I know he's busy, but he can do both.
Yeah, of course, he could do plays if he wants.
Yeah,
like
comics.
Yeah. Like he's such a talented guy that I think that if he wanted to tell stories, he can do it in whatever way he wants.
Yeah.
But I mean, man, so if he wanted to make movies he could go to Netflix, they'd give him a deal.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like he's got avenues that even if he wants to showrun a TV show.
Yeah.
Who's going to say no to Tarantino?
Yeah.
He wanted to do a Star Trek.
Oh,
do you
man.
Remember?
Yeah.
I want to see that movie.
Those were the days.
I take that back.
Remember when we thought that was going to happen for like 1 second?
That was a good second, though. We were like, Quentin Tarantino's doing Star Trek?
I was like, that's never going to happen.
It's like, and then in the back of your mind, you're just like...
Yeah, I was like, please happen,
but
please.
But what if?
Yeah.
What if? Hey, in this timeline, who knows what can happen? All the crazy stuff that's going on. Like, you know...
Oh, so in the trailer we see some just snippets. We see some fake acting going on, as in the movie is about Hollywood. So you see some actors acting, and you see some behind the scenes shots of a production going on.
Yeah,
you see people driving cars around. You see people dancing awkwardly.
Is it set in 69?
Around the time that Manson was going around.
Yeah, I think it's set in 1969. It's about Leonardo DiCaprio plays like an actor. And his Brad Pitt plays his stunt double, and I guess they go on adventures through Hollywood, and there's a connection to Charles Manson and Sharon Tate and all the crazy stuff that was going on at that time.
I'm already allocating my ticket money for this one.
I mean, even if they released no material for this movie, we're going to be there day one. But the teaser trailer just like solidifies how good it's going to be. Bruce Lee, Brad Pitt fights Bruce Lee. It's amazing. And that little girl tells Leonardo DiCaprio how good he is at acting.
And then he starts to cry.
And you can tell that's actually just Leonardo DiCaprio being like, finally, I got my Oscar. People finally take me seriously.
I was thinking to myself when I saw that, I'm like, now, is that for the film? Or was that like behind the scenes?
Yeah, Tarantino was just filming behind the scenes footage.
B-roll.
Oh man, it's gonna be great though. You know it's gonna be like crazy. You know.
I wonder, like, I know that there's gonna be bad language, but is it gonna have the full palette? Are we gonna have sex and violence?
Of course.
Well, it's set in the 60s.
Have you seen a Tarantino movie?
I know. But this isn't Western. You know what I mean? Like
but neither is Reservoir Dogs. You know,
the 60s is long enough ago. It was an extreme era in a lot of ways. I think sex, drugs, free love, rock and roll.
Yeah.
There's a lot he can play with.
Yeah. I wonder if he's going to take a Pulp Fiction kind of angle, and it's going to be.
That wasn't that one of the sort of
rumors.
The rumors that is like the way it's put together is very much in a Pulp Fiction style.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it had that. Or it's Tarantino movie, so it'll probably definitely be cut into chapters, like a lot of his movies are.
But those sort of like narratives that sort of crisscross each other.
There'll probably be some of that, especially because it's supposed to be about all the stuff that's going on at that time around Hollywood. So
there's obviously multiple protagonists, sort of having their own arcs that sometimes cross with other arcs, possibly, which is what we like.
Yeah.
We'll see though. Spoiler alert: we're gonna love it. so
hot take.
Stay tuned.
We're not unbiased at all.
Hot take.
All right, moving on to our feature discussion for the evening. Ricky Gervais's new Netflix show, Afterlife.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't seen it all, but one thing I can tell is they really let him do whatever he wanted.
Yeah, it's like Ricky Gervais unleashed.
He
completely
is unapologetic.
Yeah, which is great.
Which is great.
Which everyone should, all content creators should be completely unfiltered.
Well, that's what's great about Netflix is they're just like, here, do whatever you want.
And
sometimes it doesn't work out.
Unless you're Kevin Smith.
Oh yeah,
in which case they say no.
Yeah, which is still baffling.
Yeah. To be fair, I think, Ricky Gervais earned his stripes on his stand-up special that did incredibly well on Netflix.
And not to mention, of course, that his creative chops go back all the way to the original Office.
Well, yeah, I mean, he kind of set himself up for life when America copied his homework, and pretty much he was like...
He's producer on it.
But now everyone's like, well, he can do whatever he wants because he created the show that America copied
he's a genius.
For 10 years after that.
But yeah, like his first Netflix special was a massive success. So Netflix was probably just like, look, we'll bankroll whatever you want to do. Like,
so Adam Sandler, like anyone who gets a Netflix comedy
once they get their foot in the door
deal, once you get the foot in the door, then you can. It's probably much easier to.
I have to say,
show or movie.
Even though I haven't seen all of Afterlife, I'm really glad that
it's only 6 episodes, like 25 minutes each, so you can binge it all in.
Yeah. It's less than 3 hours all up.
Yeah.
I feel like
it's like 3 hours.
He really took his time to write it well. He didn't just rush this through the door.
Yeah.
So like when you watch it, it has a lot of heart. It's funny. No, maybe it's not for everyone.
It's very, very British.
Yeah. It's very English.
Like,
it's very sad.
Probably too much for some people.
So yeah, I mean, we should elaborate on what we mean by this. So there's two. Well, we'll just make it really simple and say there's two kinds of comedy.
Yeah.
You've got the English comedy, which is awkward, like really awkward, kind of sad,
confronting,
kind of sad and confronting,
dry,
because it's kind of reality based.
Yeah.
So it's about the downtrodden but the American more is about the kind of the haha in your face kind of comedy, slapsticky. What's that Stephen Fry quote where the comedy from the English is you're the person getting rained on.
Yeah.
And then American comedy is you're raining on someone else. Something I butchered that quote.
He says something about there's a bit in Animal House where there's a hippie playing a guitar, and John Belushi's character comes and grabs the guitar and smashes it. And American humor, American comedies, the main character is John Belushi. He's like, yeah, screw the guitar, screw the hippie. But in British comedy, the main character is the hippie getting his guitar smashed.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So that's
So that's kind of what this show is like. It's the main protagonist. His wife has passed away. He's not a happy guy, and he has to keep going.
Ricky Gervais wrote and directed every episode, and he stars as the main character Tony, whose wife Lisa had passed away about a year before from cancer, and it's just about him just giving up.
So it's very, when we say it's very English, it's very sad, it's very real.
Yeah.
The laughs aren't so much situational, it's about the dialogue. So if you watch American comedy, it's, as James would say, it's slapsticky, it's kind of like object comedy. This one's kind of more...
Yeah,
I would just quickly say, before we get too much into the show, maybe we should... A bit of a content warning, I would say. There are some suicide ideation themes.
Bad language.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking more about the themes.
But yeah,
like, we're not going to start the show.
Death and...
the show deals with some significantly heavy themes.
Another reason why it's very British.
It's very...
Because they just make jokes about, like, suicide and dementia like it's nothing, you know, like it's just like, not in a flippant way.
Oh no,
but
it's
in a sort of like
it's very
this
well
is part
written.
Of life.
It's well written
and it sucks
and it's confronting. So it's like a lot of the stuff in the English version of The Office is kind of it's you're laughing, but it's also a sad situation.
Yeah,
he continues that kind of writing in this one. It's to an extreme.
Yeah,
it's it's much darker than The Office.
Oh yeah, very much so.
But I haven't seen it all, but I really like it. It's got a lot of heart, as dark and brutal as it is. It's got a lot of heart. You can feel it.
A lot of feels.
And I like all the characters. I think the other characters are written quite well as well.
At first I was like, the characters feel...
They're a bit 2D at the start. But like you sort of they're not the best fleshed out characters in the world, but you see little snippets here and there. You think, oh, okay, that's interesting.
Another reason why it's a very British show is because it's 6 episodes. It's like quality over quantity.
Does what it needs to do.
It's like does what it, and it's low budget. You know, it's all set in this small town. A lot of reuse of the same locations. Does what it needs to do. It's more about the story and the characters and the themes.
As opposed to finding 10 seasons.
Yeah. Even the title font is very British. It's just like the cheapest like font. They just slapped it in the computer. Just like whatever font was default, they just used that. I'm like, this show is so British. But yeah, I think we're gonna go into spoilers now. If you haven't watched the show, we're gonna do full spoilers for Afterlife. But I feel like even if we do spoil the show, you can still watch it. It's not one of those shows where the plot's really, really important. It's more about the journey and the characters and the humor. And
it's that kind of show where it's not so much about what happens as it is about the journey.
Yeah.
It's about the arc the characters take, not so much about what happens.
How they get to
It's about the characters, not the plot.
Yeah.
Like the Office characters, I liked. He's in quotes, best friend, the photographer.
Lenny?
Lenny.
Yeah.
And all he does is eat.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's like I'm sure we all know people like that.
I like the bit where he's eating the chips and Tony's like to Sandy, the new girl. He's like, watch, and they're just watching him eat chips.
I love the scene where he grabs the fat on the back of his head.
He
He's like,
look at it repeatedly throughout the show.
It's like a pug.
Yeah,
it's like a pug. And even the I forget what she does in the office. The other lady in the office.
I forgot her name.
And she's obsessed with Kevin Hart.
Yeah. The boring. He thinks she's boring.
I love that. There's the scene where she's walking towards them and he says to Sandy, "Don't move, she's coming."
Yeah. But like the point of the show is that most of these characters are damaged. The boss, the boss of the paper, his brother-in-law.
Yes.
His marriage is failing.
Yeah.
His best friend has an eating disorder, basically. The other lady at the office is very lonely.
Mm. His dad has dementia.
His dad has dementia. So like most of the supporting cast, like they're all very damaged people in their own ways, and that's a part of the message is that everybody has problems. Yeah. You just need to keep trying to.
And Tony, he's given up on life. He just wants to be with his wife, so he's like tried to commit suicide, and he's given up trying to be polite or trying to go about life normally, and he's just an arsehole to everyone.
Yeah, he decided that he couldn't go through with it. So now, while he's living, he can say and do what he likes.
Exactly,
and
do whatever he wants.
At the end of the day, he can still kill himself.
Yeah.
But the goal of the show is Tony being aware that, other people do also have significant problems.
Yeah.
And that you can't resolve anything. You can't do any good in the world if you're not contributing good into the world.
Yeah, that's what I like at the end when he's talking to Anne, who lost her husband as well. And she's kind of like, you have to do good to combat the arseholes. You can't be an arsehole to an arsehole because then that guy's just going to keep being an arsehole. You have to do more good so it like trumps the person being an arsehole.
Exactly, yeah.
And so Tony, through his interactions with all these people, slowly realizes that
there is a better way.
Yeah.
There is a better way. There is a third way.
Yeah.
In that you just have to take it a day at a time and put as much good as you can into the world.
Exactly.
Because everybody struggles, and one of the most devastating arcs in the show is the paper delivery.
Oh,
guy,
Julian, the junkie
who works for the paper, in quote, works for the paper, and Tony ends up giving him the money he uses to kill himself.
Poor Julian, though.
But yeah, like I was watching, the if you've seen the trailer, it's basically just the pilot episode, so it gives you a taste of kind of what the show is, but only from the first episode, really. All the bits in the trailer are pretty much just from the first episode, where he's just an arsehole to everyone. And I think the show goes on to do more than what's just in the first episode. And because it's so short, you can just watch it all at once and get the whole journey. But yeah, like watching the first episode, I was expecting there to be a twist or a reveal or a hook at the end of the pilot, like most shows.
But no, it's very English.
It's just like it just ends, and it's like the next episode just kind of picks up, and it's like I thought it was gonna be like him being an asshole to everyone, and then at the end, the end of the first episode where he's talking to the old man who got the same birthday card.
Yeah.
And then and Tony couldn't care less, and then the guy says he lost his wife. And I thought, well, Tony's gonna be like an anger translator for all these people who are lost and hurt, and he's the only one who is an arsehole, so he can sort of become people's destructive side. But because the show is British and it's much smarter than me and a lot of other shows, it's like it doesn't do that. It continues on.
It's based in real life,
with his.
I thought they were going to use that character more in the show.
Yeah,
the old man, and they didn't.
No, yeah, I thought there was also a bit, because he works for the local newspaper, and I was like, oh, maybe he's going to start doing real journalism, because all they do is like fluff pieces. And also, he's going to bring the truth to the people, And then that doesn't happen either. No. I'm like, I'm trying to make this show into an American show.
Yeah.
And I realized, I'm like, if this show came out 10 years ago, it wouldn't have been on Netflix, and America would probably have tried to remake it. But the thing is, now that it's on Netflix, the American remakes become unnecessary because everyone can gain access
watch the same content at the same time.
Yeah.
But the thing with the paper, though, by the end of the show, his sort of transformation from thinking the paper's just a bit shit, it doesn't mean anything, to him realizing that for a lot of people, the local paper is special to them because it's local and because it's fluff and small.
I like that he says something about it's not about reading the paper, but it's about being in the paper.
It's a community paper.
Yeah.
So that's the whole point. It's not a big paper. He says in the show, everybody should be in the local paper at least once in their life.
Yeah. Just to feel good about themselves for 1 second.
That's the whole point of the paper, is that it doesn't matter if it's not hard-hitting news and journalism.
Yeah.
It's a community-run paper for the local community.
Mm.
Or be on your local radio station.
Yeah.
And you can rant about Star Wars every week.
You can subscribe to Northwest. You can become a member at Northwest FM here.
If you're feeling patriotic.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always SMS us in, but we won't answer if you listen to the podcast.
No.
It's a heartwarming show, but like we were saying before, definitely a trigger warning because it does tackle very heavy themes that deals about suicide.
There's a joke I want to talk about because it's so dark and so funny, but I don't want to ruin it for Callum.
Look, I've had things ruined for me already, multiple things, so feel free.
Spoiler alert, Tony is late to Julian's funeral. And he gets there when they're cremating him, and you can see the smoke coming from the chimney. And the nun comes out and says, "Oh, I'm sorry for your loss." And he looks at the smoke, and he's like, "Don't breathe in, love. You'll get high."
He says, "You get off your tits."
Yeah, you get off your tits, love. And the nun just shakes her head and walks off.
And I was watching this show. It's 10:30 at night. I'm watching it with my dad, and this episode comes on, and he didn't get it at first. I'm laughing my ass off, and then I had to explain it to him, and he's laughing his ass off.
It's so good.
That's like probably the best joke in the show.
Yeah.
Don't breathe it in.
Oh man.
Oh man, that's so good. No, overall, it's just a very good show. We need more of these kind of shows.
Yeah,
it's just so great that
Netflix is a perfect place for this kind of small scale, small stake kind of show.
And it's very much an adult show. It could not have been made elsewhere.
Yeah.
I know
even like BBC, they can get away with a lot of
not the C word,
but not as much as Netflix.
Yeah,
like more so, like BBC more so can get away with stuff than American networks.
Yeah,
but not as much as Netflix.
He could do the show on the BBC. He just wouldn't be able to swear as much.
Yeah,
that's the only difference. Yeah.
Probably still the same dark jokes.
The same dark jokes, the same themes, but the swearing probably not as much.
Yeah.
I don't think, as far as I know, there are no hard and fast rules with the BBC, but it's just sort of...
Yeah. It's unspoken.
It's just sort of community, sort of what the community expects.
Yeah, in good taste.
In good taste, yeah. In a very English
Gentleman,
way. Yeah, in a very English way. It's,
which is kind of
be tasteful.
Kind of dumb in a way, but...
I mean, it's the same kind of rules that dictate us here at the station what we can and can't say. There's no hard and fast rules. It's just based on, what we would want to put out into the world.
Well, what I want to put out has a lot of swearing, but I understand that the community,
you know what I mean, though.
Yeah, because we're live, the community, and I want to respect the rules of the station. Hey, if Netflix wants to produce our show, we're up for that. And as we've demonstrated over the last how many,
we're not above shilling for Netflix.
We're not about shilling, and we have a lot of good ideas and that we're willing to.
We're pretty low budget.
Yes.
Oh, we're very low budget.
Yeah, You're paying these Hollywood writers all this money for crap scripts when we can bang one out in 10 minutes on our crappy show.
That's about all the time we've got left.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, there's some more stuff we go into with the show, but I think give it a watch. It's pretty good.
It's very good.
And it's short, so...
It's short and sweet.
Yeah.
Another English tradition. You don't need to make 20 episodes if you can do it in 6.
And if they do another season, it doesn't have to come out for another 3-4 years.
That's right. Or do it like they do Luther now, and just be like one.
Whenever Ricky Gervais has time, we'll do like a 90-minute episode.
Yeah, that's it. That's it for 3 years.
Yeah.
All right, we're all out of time. You can reach us on Facebook. We are the Tuesday Review.
Yeah.
Subscribe to our Twitter. At the Tuesday.
No. At Tuesday Review AU. Yeah, you always say the, but it's at Tuesday Review AU.
Subscribe to our Twitter at Tuesday Review AU.
Yeah. Rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes and/or Apple Podcasts. I think it's the same thing. I don't know why they changed. I think they just changed the name to incorporate the podcast element, which is more popular now. And if you want to hear the previous episodes, which you've probably already heard, you can find that on your regular podcasting app. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you all for listening. We do really appreciate our 3 listeners, or however many there is. We do really appreciate you. So thanks again, and adios, cousins.